And we're live. Welcome to the Team Tank Podcast. We are the Lakers Outsiders. I believe we're live. We're live, right?
Yeah, we're live.
All right, good. Yeah, so we are live. My
And we're
computer.
professionals.
Yeah, we're really good at this. My computer is going at a snail's pace, kind of the opposite of how smoothly Karl Anthony Towns was working out in that clip. I am joined by Gary Kester, Harrison, and Ryan. I don't know why I use Gary and Kester in there, but how are you guys doing?
Now I feel special.
Feeling disrespected.
Yeah, same. I'm considering just signing off right now. That was really
All right, this is. I'm gonna feel terrible as a host and as somebody who's been doing this with Ryan for quite some time. Ryan, is it Kelapire or Kelapare?
neither. Peer, like peer pressure.
Gotcha. Well, there you go. That.
Pear is kind of interesting though.
Yeah.
If I didn't know my last name, I would pronounce it as Kelapire. So when people say that, I don't care, and I usually don't correct them because that's how I would say it if I didn't know it. So, but if you say Kelapare, I'll call you out on that because that's terrible.
So for those of you tuning in for Lakers news, I'm sorry to be that you're disappointed. We're figuring out how to say Ryan's last name.
That's more important anyway.
So we're kind of gonna have to rush through this here. I have a bunch of other stuff I have to do, and Gary has geese to tend to. So
I gotta watch some Steve Novak highlights.
And Steve Novak highlights. You never know when those are gonna go away. But we're gonna start with some actual footage and some something close to news for the Lakers. We had Karl Anthony Towns, Willie Trill, Cauley Stein, and D'Angelo Russell all working out together. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit. I watched both the D'Angelo Russell and the Karl Anthony Towns ones. I wasn't really paying any attention to Cauley Stein because there's no scenario that under which they actually wind up with him. But what was your takeaway, Harrison, from Towns' workout?
I mean, that was the most insane workout footage I've ever seen. I've never been like a big draftnik because being a Lakers fan, before this year there haven't been a ton of years where we've had a high pick that like I've been old enough to kind of like be watching them because pretty much for Kobe's whole career that just hasn't been the case. But like just how fluid he was just with his dribbling and going directly into his shot and how pure his shot looked. I think there was one sequence where he hit like 5 or 6 threes in a row. Like, I mean, I just don't even know what you say to that other than like, why did they have to release that footage and just like not let Flip Saunders just go ahead and pass on him? Because now, like, there's no way the Wolves pass on him now, right?
I wouldn't. No, I could definitely see them passing on him. But like the counter argument to the Towns video, like I saw a few people. I mean, I was impressed, and I want Towns #1 or #2, I should say. But like, I mean, they were saying like I think he hit 8 of 11 threes or 9 of 11 threes or something. And someone on Twitter I saw was like, oh, like that's not impressive at all because they're unguarded, which is, I mean, that's true. But I don't know. I just hope Flip Saunders didn't see that video. We should edit it and like make it look like he's airballing or something, and then email it to their front office.
Have somehow get like Jahlil Okafor in the clip to like spike all the shots down. You definitely want that guy. Gary.
We'd have to pose as Wolves fans, like from the Wolves faithful. It's like, please don't pick this guy. Take the known commodity in Okafor.
Yeah, we are now the Wolves outsiders for everybody watching. Gary, were you able to watch the clip? What was your? I mean, of all the things that he showed in that I guess it was like 11-minute video. What was the #1 thing that you were like, oh my goodness, about?
Well, I mean, I knew he had shooting ability. I know it's high school ball, but his senior year of high school, he shot 51% from the three-point line. And if you look at some of the tape that he has, like a lot of it's like in transition, off the dribble, pulling up from the three-point line and hitting it. Like the dude's just unreal. So, I mean, I knew the shooting ability was there, and He didn't really get to use it that much at Kentucky because Calipari wanted him to develop a low post game, and that ultimately made him a better player. But they didn't fully utilize him there. But the one sequence where Cauley Stein hit a jumper, and then Towns comes in from the left, and he's just like handling the ball like it's nothing. Like he's just dribbling like through his legs, crossing over, and then drives it and just explodes and gets up for the dunk. The ball handling was the thing that like really got me, because a 7-footer like that, or 6'11", whatever, a center shouldn't be able to move like that with the basketball and look so fluid doing it. And then I watched the interview afterwards, and I was just really blown away with everything he said. He's just a really intelligent 19-year-old kid, and I just loved everything he said. He mentioned when he's like training and getting his body physically prepared, his biggest thing is injury prevention. Getting his body just in the right shape that it needs to be, just so he doesn't, so he limits like opportunities to get hurt. So the interview honestly was just as impressive as the workout video to me. So he's as impressive as a prospect as I've seen.
I think the thing that I took away from more than anything was how fluidly he moved. Like, he doesn't move like a 7-footer by any definition, by any stretch of the imagination. He moves like a guard.
Yeah.
Well, it's even scarier. Well, he's not nearly as skilled, but Cauley Stein's even more like fluid of an athlete than Towns is, which is
right. Right. Those two together. I don't know how Kentucky lost the game this year. I guess Sam Decker turning into Larry Bird helped, but holy mackerel.
They're guard.
The Harrison twins.
Yeah.
I don't know. So were you guys able to catch? I was able to watch the D'Angelo Russell mixtape. Were you guys able to catch any of that?
I just saw bits and pieces of it.
I did not. I was not aware that he had even worked out, to be honest.
Yeah, he looked pretty good too. I thought his shot would look a little better. I was a little let down by I'm kind of picky. I'm really picky about shooting form, but he kind of shoots the ball from the right side of his body. He brings the ball up on the right side of his body, which is a little awkward. It feels a little tedious, but aside from that, the ball handling, his size struck me as kind of surprising. He's a big kid, and he was pulling from like almost half court at the very end of the clip. And then again, like Gary mentioned with Towns, he said all the right things, which you got to kind of take with a grain of salt. These guys are all being coached on and off the court, but it is good to hear that both those guys seem genuine. I kind of alluded to Ryan. What do you think about if Towns does go first overall? If Flip Saunders is coerced by the smarter people in his organization to take Karl Anthony Towns, do you see a scenario where the Lakers pass on Jahlil Okafor for D'Angelo Russell?
I think so, and especially now. I don't want to compare Russell to Curry, but if Curry's goes off in the finals, and it's like with the NBA, with the way the NBA is now, it's like you could argue that having a guy like a guard like Russell that can put up 25, 30 points and be efficient from behind the arc, that's more valuable in the modern NBA than a traditional post-up center like Okafor. So I could see it. Although our front office, to me, seems more like traditionalist, so I don't think they would take a guard over a center, because that's that. I don't know what you want to call it, but that one. The phrase is always you picked a big over the guard, or you never trade a guard or a big for a guard. So and like I said, our front office is pretty old-fashioned. So I think they're. I don't think they'll take Russell over Towns or Okafor, but it wouldn't bother me if they did.
It seems. Go ahead and finish.
I was gonna say if it's Russell over Okafor, I would definitely wouldn't want them to take Russell over Towns.
Right. That's kind of the next point I was going to make, Harrison. It seems like at this point, right now, we still have a couple weeks before the actual draft. It's not till the 25th, I believe.
Yeah.
So with this time between now and the draft, where we stand, it seems like Towns has kind of separated himself from the group. So, to lead into our next topic, awesome segue because we're getting better at this. Would you trade, some combination of the draft picks the Lakers have for, to move up and ensure that the Lakers can take Towns?
Yeah, I mean, like I saw somebody like propose like a really good trade today, and like I like where the Lakers offer the 27, 34, Jordan Clarkson, Randall, and the second pick for the number one pick. Because I'm not really that high on Towns, but no, just to be clear, I would never in a million years do that trade. But I think you have to at least consider trading the 27 or the 34 for it. I don't know if you trade both because that just seems like a lot. I'd consider it probably just because I'm not that high on any of the guys that look like they're going to be left there. And it's like there are always people who like it seems like every draft there's like one guy that shows up kind of late, really late in the first or like early in the second or whatever that ends up being way better than their draft slot. But I don't know if the small chance of that happening is enough to kind of dissuade me from going and getting the guy who looks like he would be perfect to kind of build our front line of the future around. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but yeah, I mean, there's nobody that I'm that high on in that range, so I think I'd probably do it.
Gary, do you think the gap is wide enough to where the Lakers really should ensure that they can land Towns?
Yeah, I mean, I asked this same question to my followers on Twitter yesterday, and really, I mean, it just depends on how you
Wait.
feel
Did you
about
pose it to Gary Nation?
Gary Nation is dead, okay?
Yeah, it's a cupcakes website now.
No, but I got pretty mixed reactions. And I think it just depends on if you view that there's a considerable gap between Towns and Okafor, which, I mean, I wouldn't say considerable gap, but I think Towns is definitely ahead of Okafor as a prospect. And I wouldn't trade 2 and 27. I would try and say 2 and 34. That I would do. If Minnesota wants like 2 and 27, though, I would say I would try and negotiate to get, because they have 31 and I think 35 as well. I'd say give us 1 and 31, and we'll give you 2 and 27 or something like that. And
right.
Because Minnesota doesn't really have a ton of leverage in that situation, because if you don't take that trade, there's another top center prospect right there. It's not like Towns is the only big man at the top of this draft. You could just easily say, okay, forget it. We'll just draft Okafor and then figure out what we're going to do with those other 2 picks.
Right. And I feel like the variable that would force the Lakers to make this kind of trade is, whether they actually think Minnesota would really take Towns over Okafor, which according to a lot of reports they wouldn't, but I just don't know how you watch that clip and say, nah, we don't need that guy. I don't see how that works out.
Yeah, I don't know. And Chad Ford's saying that, Flip Saunders wants Okafor, which ultimately, it's kind of, I mean, he has a large say in the matter. But he also said that, most people in their front office want Towns. So I would imagine that they're going to talk him into, wanting Towns. But if he takes Okafor at 1 and we get Towns at 2 and have those 2 picks still, I mean, that's you couldn't ask for anything more.
I completely agree. So, I mean, obviously we all know, and sorry if this feels rushed. We promise we'll record another one later, either this week or early next week, to take a little bit more time on all these subjects. But the other way, obviously, that the Lakers are going to rebuild is through free agency, and the finals are going to start tomorrow. So I figured we pose a question to each other. Are there any free agents that are about to start playing tomorrow who you could see the Lakers going after? Gary, I'll start with you on this one.
Well, I think the obvious one is Draymond Green. He's the best one of the bunch, unless LeBron James or Kevin Love opt out. But I don't know if I see it happening. Kevin Love, if he's there, I think they'll definitely take a look at him. But Draymond Green's the best one, but he's a restricted free agent, and I think Golden State, because I mean he's going to get paid a lot, and they're going to have to pay the luxury tax because they already have $80 million locked up on 8 guys, with Klay Thompson's salary jumping next year. So I think they'll match that and just bite the luxury tax dollars for 1 year and then the capital raise. But another guy that's kind of interesting is Iman Shumpert, but he's restricted too. So a lot of the top guys that I would want are restricted free agents. So it's kind of tricky.
Right. I was thinking actually Iman Shumpert too. Ryan, do you think that's a viable free agency target?
I do, and also for Shumpert, like the Cavs are probably gonna have to, if they want to keep Tristan Thompson. I mean, people have been suggesting that he could get the max, and then it's like then they're gonna have to either extend Love the year after, or if he opts in, whatever. So I mean, they might have to make some decisions there. And Dellavedova is a free agent. I mean, I don't really know what type of market there'll be for him, but I could see where they're. Oh, and also J.R. Smith I think he has a player option, and if he has like a good finals, he could opt out of that, and then if they want to re-sign him, so it's like they might have to choose maybe between 2 out of the 3 of those guys, and if Shumpert's the one that they don't want or they decide to let go, I could see us going after him.
It's crazy to me. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't listening fully, but it's crazy to me that we've gone through all these names, and if we've mentioned Kevin Love at all, it's been in passing. Harrison, do you not see that as a viable? Is that not a possibility anymore, or does that matter?
Okay, well, I think he's opting in. Like if I had to put money on it, I wouldn't bet this just on my own, but if I had to pick one, I think he's probably going to opt in and then like go for the cash explosion in 2016. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to pick him up in free agency, then it basically, it means you're either giving up on Randall or you think he's, kind of a bench player, or you think one of them's a bench player, because I don't think that you can really play them together other than, for short stretches, because, I mean, you just get killed defensively. I just don't see how that would work. So, no, I don't think Love would be worth signing, especially not to the max for our team.
It's crazy to me though that somebody whom heading into the season, if things didn't go well in Cleveland, especially the way they've gone, you would think man, yeah, it's only a matter of time till Kevin Love winds up on the Lakers. I actually do kind of I could see Randall kind of playing well in a bench role with Kevin Love there. Just because he's coming off of a pretty crazy knee or a leg injury, and then there's a lot of versatility along that front line. So I could see maybe, but I actually think Iman Shumpert is the best target because of the situation he's coming from. That just about does it on my end. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about really quickly?
No. I think we covered it.
That's crazy to me. We did. This was well organized.
Yeah.
I promise to those of you listening, I'm really, really sorry. This was kind of a tease. Who wouldn't miss the dulcet tones of Harrison coming off of that spider poison injury? But we'll be back within the next few days. We're also really excited. Jacob Rude, formerly editor-in-chief of Lake Show Life, used to be my editor, is going to be joining for a couple guest columns, and yeah, big things coming in the not so distant future. So thanks again, guys, for joining. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, thanks, Anthony.
Gosh, oh man, my computer's not. All right, cool. We're just gonna sit here. It's not awkward at all.
Oh, hurry! I need to get back to my Steve Novak highlights. Let's go.
All right, come on, go off. Go.
It helps if you hit the end podcast button.
I'm trying.